Hey, Gatsby here, and I want to see if I can convince you to watch an anime in under 5 minutes. But instead of burning another 20 hours of my life and 16 minutes of yours, or talking about an entire arc, or even an entire episode, I'm only going to talk about half of an episode that's halfway through the anime that's called Sonny Boy. Up front, yeah, spoiler alert, the show is great on a blind watch, and it's a personal 10 out of 10 for me, but I understand that a slow burn, dialogue-driven anime isn't going to be catching everyone's attention unless it's an ecchi. I'd also like to say that if you're looking for a show to marathon, this probably won't work for you either, as this is a show that I'd suggest you watch one episode at a time, with a warm cup of cocoa as you ponder the finer things in life next to your fireplace. But now that all the brainlets are out of the room, I want you to put yourself into the shoes of Nagara. That's the main character, that's him, you're in his shoes now. Yes, close your eyes, believe in it, deep breath. You just ran away with your friend's ant farm when you found this bar on a hill. Naturally, the first thing that comes to mind is to do a sick flip, and when you try to do it, you hesitate for a moment, but surprisingly enough, you're finally able to do the spin. Like a gag out of a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, you realize the rest of the world did the sick spin, and you fall through the sky. In a daze, you wake up, being confronted by some construction workers who tell you to get back to work after punishing you for slacking on the job. Thankfully, you have this oddly dirty-looking guy who realizes you're new here, and he's willing to show you the ropes. After a long day of moving concrete blocks down a pillar, you decide to grab some food and sit down in the cafeteria where you overhear people blaming you for your plot-significant power causing this whole situation. Of course, being the main character of an anime, you're already aware that you have the ability to create worlds and escape to them on command. Each of these worlds have their own rules that must be adhered to, but you're not fully in control of this ability, making it difficult to blip between seemingly infinite worlds. Again, you find the dirty-looking guy who reveals his name to be Tatsuboshi. He strikes up a conversation with you explaining that the purpose of their world is to build a tower to heaven in order to escape back into their own world, or to find treasure while they do it. Naturally, later that night, with your ability, you try to make an escape, only to be told by a guy wearing a sock on his head that there are rules put into place, making you unable to run away from this world. Since you can't really escape, you decide to go back to work the following day, but realize how strange it is that you're bringing blocks downstairs for the purpose of building a tower to heaven. Tatsuboshi tells you you're thinking too hard. Upper management exists to make tough decisions like that. You finish the day's work and get a small wage and decide to go out and grab drinks with your new friend. Immediately, something is horridly off as the waitress in white face presents a plate of worms to your table. Tatsuboshi decides to start eating, but the hostess sticks around and tells you about an urban legend of a room filled with shooting stars. This literal dream of a room sounds super romantic, but the entire time she's talking to you, you can't get over the fact that your new friend is stuffing his face with worms right in front of you. Later that night, as you lie in bed unable to sleep, Tatsuboshi invites you on an exploration trip to seek out the room with the shooting stars, and after traveling an undefined distance, you decide to take a breather in a cave. You tell your new friend it's time to give up for the night and go back to sleep because it's unlikely the room even exists. This feels like a wild goose chase. He tells you that even if the room doesn't exist, he's still willing to believe in it, because what else is there to live for except our dreams? Sure, this giant tower might not ever actually get to heaven, but the alternative is to live for nothing. You stumble a bit further into the cave and holy shit, the shooting star room exists. Momentarily, you're stunned. It's amazing seeing this legendary dream room right in front of you. But you recall prior to entering this world a conversation you had with the best character in the series. You try to warn your friend who's enthralled, but of course it's far too late for that. The following day, you decide to go back to work, but purposefully cause issues so that you can talk to the Vermin Supreme cosplayer in charge of the world to explain that you finally understand what the purpose of this story was. You take your first step in this world to stop running from all your problems and understand that this is the key to escape, as you're finally free. When I watched this show, I didn't fully understand exactly how densely packed each episode was with metaphors to life experiences. After watching and re-watching episodes, you really start noticing and appreciating smaller details. Nagara was transported to a world that outlined the life of people who get caught up into work that promises heavenly riches to people for exploitative work that ultimately doesn't amount to anything more than abusive practices. The term black company exists in Japanese culture to define businesses like this, and in Sonny Boy, the black company is used in tandem with another character named Komori, a character who is symbolized by a black umbrella whose name means a few things in Japan. His name means bat, but it can be spelled with these kanji, where this kanji means to guard. Thanks, Google. I'm sure there are more profound concepts and deeper meanings here, but to me in my monolingual smooth brain, I can appreciate the wordplay that is used with this character to define this episode. episode, as he works to keep castaways safe in his upside-down world. Until, of course, they're eaten by worms. I'm not trying to say the show is perfect, because I know Sonny Boy's not for everyone. It's a coming-of-age story that emphasizes on various points in one's life and can be interpreted a lot of different ways. And I'm definitely not trying to claim that I'm some kind of Rene Descartes or any other philosopher from meme formats back in early 2010s, but the show does really hit close to home for anyone who might be working a job that doesn't feel like a right fit for them. It also touches on the idea that in life, it's good to dream for bigger and better things and to have aspirations, but not to lose track or get too caught up in them. Otherwise, you'll be eaten by worms. But that's the foundation I wanted to provide for Sonny Boy. This might be my favorite anime of 2021 because of how abstract and artistically beautiful it was to experience. That is, of course, until Chainsaw Man finally airs to fill everyone's timeline with more dog posting about Makima's ass, or Part 6 arrives with Gay Priest and Kabutomushi. So go check it out, and you too could be an anime hipster who enjoyed a show 4 months ago that about 10 people watched. And what kind of content creator would I be if I didn't beg for interactions at the end of the video? Did you watch it? Did I convince you to watch it? Do you think you can make a better argument as to why this underrated gem went unnoticed by so many people? Go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong. The comment section is right there.
Well, then, glory